There's no other way to put it other than just Modern Warfare 3 is bad. Like, whoever, I don't know if it was developers or I would assume maybe people higher up along the pipeline and all that, but whoever decided that this should be the greenlit, let's go out with this as a campaign, whoever decided that should probably just quit or get fired because Jesus Christ. I mean, this campaign is essentially like a good third of it is open combat missions that just tries to basically imprint into your brain, hey, this is how Warzone works, this is how DMZ and Modern Warfare 2 worked. Go to these supply boxes, open them up, loot a weapon out of there, find your armor plates, and it's just, it is not a streamlined, linear exciting experience, honestly. There's little to no memorable stuff that happens in this, pretty much at all. And I'm going to get into spoilers with it as well, just because there's no reason to even really play this campaign, honestly. And if they decide that they're going to try to do something in terms of like a Modern Warfare 4 to expand it, or what they've been doing with Modern Warfare 2, it seems, and expanding the story with seasonal cutscenes, where you have almost no like mission related things to play through that's really clean cut and precise. This is just all around one of the worst campaigns ever. And Black Ops 4 didn't even have a campaign, and that was still at least a better, more worthwhile experience with the zombies mode and the multiplayer back in the day. But this here has just got to be like, I I'm gonna shit on it and everything. There are some positives. The gunplay is very good. The graphics playing on a PS5 look amazing as they always have with this. The cutscenes in the game look really good. They look almost photoreal. But beyond that, the character progression of all of these characters stays basically stagnant throughout the entire game. There's something that happens with Price where he gets hurt by one of the chemical weapons that Makarov has, and it's just completely brushed over pretty much in its entirety. Price gets unconscious from inhaling this gas. The rest of Task Force 141 saves him, and then he wakes up in a helicopter hooked up to like a IV or some shit, and all that happens is Gaz just asks him if he's had nausea or headaches or anything like that. He lets him know that he has always had that, and then Gaz is just like, "Oh, Price must be fine," and it's just fucking that it just gets brushed over entirely. And if you've ever played the original Modern Warfare 3, the opening of the game is already so much more memorable because it really draws you in and has you curious, wondering as to what exactly is going on. Because you see Price over the top of you, Soap is laying on a little medical bed, injured, and they're trying to wheel him in somewhere to help him out. And even just that already has a lot more going on for it than what this does here in the beginning. Because this beginning is just breaking Makarov out of prison, which, even doing this, it's just the gulag from Verdansk. They just reused the assets for that here, and there's multiple times throughout the campaign where it's just reused assets. Like when you go back 4 years for a flashback mission, it literally is the stadium from the original Warzone that was out back in 2019's Modern Warfare. That's all it is. Just you get to go to the interior of that, and you'll notice it right away when you're approaching from the exterior. And then they even have, in one of the cutscenes, they have the Verdansk airport, and all it is, it's just reused stuff. And with these open combat missions especially, it can really kind of kill the pacing of the game, and you could try to stealth through them, but honestly, there's not much reason to do it because it almost makes it less exciting to try and stealth through some of those open combat missions. And even with stealthing through, if you decide to say, fuck it, I'm just going to go in. Even once you actually try and approach with the loud method, it's still, at least that keeps it somewhat more exciting. Like on all of the open combat missions in the game, I didn't even bother trying to stealth through some of them just because it's not worth it. At some point, you're probably going to get made anyways. And this campaign, as a lot of stuff has been reported on, this campaign was supposedly going to be a DLC for Modern Warfare 2. I'm sure people have heard about the whole thing with the Modern Warfare 2 application just being turned into like the COD HQ launcher essentially, and you have to download Modern Warfare 3 through the COD HQ launcher. You can't just download it as a separate application. And then there's also the stuff with Modern Warfare 3's campaign trophies being listed under the DLC category for Modern Warfare 2. And with all of those reports about that stuff, it just goes to show this yearly release model is not something that they can keep up with. And even right here, you see price is just dropping into this mission here, and it's exactly like what you would be doing in Warzone. You're just going to drop into a section of the map. Granted, right now he has a loadout and everything, but they really just want to, with this campaign, I feel like, not give too much of a shit about the story, but just really try to reinforce, hey, here is our very just ham-fisted, here's a tutorial on what Warzone is going to be. We probably want you to play that instead to help drive skin sales and things like that. Because even with them bringing everything over from Modern Warfare 2, that can be a pro, having all of your weapons and skins transfer over so it isn't limited to just a single like year for the lifespan of any weapon blueprints and things like that that you have. But it increases the file size. It shows that they really want to try and boost up profits as well, because sure, you can keep what you have already for your skins, but they're going to be adding in more. They're not really giving the campaign any light of day as it should probably get, especially for what was honestly a somewhat exciting retelling or reimagining of the original Modern Warfare trilogy. Now, was it by any means like amazing? No. It's honestly, it'll be fairly hard for them, I think, to ever come close to what they did with either the original Modern Warfare trilogy or the first two Black Ops titles. Another thing too is Makarov as a threat is he doesn't do too much in this game. What Makarov essentially accomplishes after getting out of prison is he blows up an airplane. He has an attempt at blowing up a Russian military base that Laswell is at when she's talking with Yuri, and two of the missiles hit it, attacking this Russian military base, and then he also briefly accomplishes painting the ULF almost as like the bad guys in the situation here. But other than that, it seems like he just gets jack shit done, basically. Task Force 141 is kind of on his ass almost the entire time, and if you go back comparing it to the original trilogy, of course, obviously, Farah and Alex are new characters in this. Ghost died in the original Modern Warfare 2, but he's alive now in Modern Warfare 3's campaign. I get that they're taking some liberties here, but even if they did almost a one-for-one in terms of what the original Modern Warfare 3 campaign was, that would have been a better experience on offer than what we have currently. Because Makarov in Modern Warfare 3 successfully launches a chemical attack in Paris that topples the Eiffel Tower. He starts to eliminate even more of Task Force 141 because you get Soap dies, which is an unsurprising thing. If you played the original trilogy, you know that in this one, at some point along the way, Soap is going to die again as well. And even if you go back to Modern Warfare 2 with their original trilogy, they built him up further than what this game currently has. Makarov as a villain does not have too much time to really build up to show the extent of just how dangerous he really can be. Because even when you play through the original Modern Warfare 3 and Price is asking how Makarov knows you, and it goes back to the flashbacks of Yuri with Makarov in the original Modern Warfare with Zakayev there, or when it goes back and Yuri is trying to stop the assault on the airport and he was injured and couldn't get to Makarov in time to actually kill him. Like, there's things like that that really help build up the character, help build up what kind of threat he can be, and then it will be an even better payoff near the end, because in the original trilogy, I'm going to keep comparing it, but in the original Modern Warfare 3, when you're with Yuri and you're in the Juggernaut suits and you go to that fucking skyscraper to go after Makarov, that is just a badass moment. You feel like all the emotion from even just Modern Warfare 2, everything leading up and building up to this bad guy, of just finally going to get him, is just a much more rewarding experience on offer. And they don't have too much that shows him as much of a threat. They have the flashback to Verdansk here, where it shows him at this stadium using the Coney soldiers disguised as police to go and kill more civilians, but that's also a 4-year prior thing. And I would think this, along with the reimagining of No Russian, are the two things that can kind of help show that Makarov is the danger that he is. But it's still, with how short the campaign is, they don't give any of these characters enough time to really truly develop in a way that's going to be meaningful by the time you reach the end of it. By the end of this campaign, Makarov is injured but not dead. Soap is dead. Now it's Price, Ghost, and Gaz, along with Laswell and Nikolai, and Price goes and kills Shepard. And then we're uncertain of what's going on with Farah and Alex at this point after the end of the game, because they were there for that strike on the hangar that had some of those chemical weapons that Makarov was going to use for this bombing in this train tunnel system for the end of the game. And that's it. It ends just with Price killing not Makarov, fucking Shepard, and that's just it. And if they're gonna try and expand the story in like 2 to 5 minute long cutscenes at the start of each season, that's not gonna be something that even really helps to build up hype for the future for any of this stuff. And they really, what they should do, if they can, especially now with being acquired by Microsoft, they need to give these stories, these campaigns, more time to actually build up and be written into something that's better. Because having all of the development studios all work on the same game at one time but work on different aspects of it to keep turning out these annual releases is just degrading the quality of the games even more. And as someone who has enjoyed Call of Duty for quite a long time, all the way since World at War, and even enjoyed some of the crappier campaigns that we've gotten in the past, or some of the more lackluster ones, this one really does take the cake with just how meaningless it seems to feel. And this is just a review of the Modern Warfare 3 campaign that we currently have on offer. Obviously, there's still potential for the multiplayer and the DMZ zombie style stuff to be a lot of fun, which can maybe help to kind of feel less shitty about spending $70 on a game that, as of right now, getting the early access for the campaign was not worth it. I'm hoping that the multiplayer and the zombies can bring something to the table that is at least somewhat better, to where I can feel like, okay, now I feel less shitty about spending $70 on this. But that's the other thing too. is, the bad side of this, doing reviews, purchasing a game like that in order to talk about it and hopefully keep other people away from it. They will still continue to make these games. They will still continue to probably be financially successful because there is enough of a player base that doesn't even care about the campaigns, but more so the multiplayer and Warzone aspects to it. And they will keep buying the skins, turning out more profit for the studios. And the executives at those studios that get those fat paychecks will think, oh, we did a good fucking job. And they haven't here. And like I said, I don't know if it's some of the higher ups above the writing team, however some of that stuff works, but what they put on offer here is just not worth the time. It's not worth the money. And that's pretty much all I can think of right now. I'll be back later on to do a review for the multiplayer and the DMZ or DMs, whatever the hell they're the Modern Warfare Zombies, whatever they're going to be calling it. That will take a little while to get through that just with work and everything else, but eventually I'll come back with my thoughts on some of those. But those are my thoughts on this current campaign. It's not worth your money, not worth your time. If you're still hell bent on wanting to play the multiplayer and zombies, then I would not give them the $100 for the Vault Edition. You could purchase the cross gen bundle if you want, do what you want with your money. But don't go buying this game expecting an amazing campaign that's really going to push the boundaries of what this new trilogy being reimagined is doing, because it didn't push forward jack shit.